Well, hi there, and welcome to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole, and this is your radio home for all things home, garden, and life improvement. A special broadcast today because we are at one of my favorite places to really get inspired, room by room, area by area. It is the Pasadena Showcase House, and today we had our lucky listeners who won the VIP tickets just completed the tour, and the tours go on for several more weeks. So as you're listening today, as we're talking with several of the designers, you're going to go, ooh, I wish I could see that. Well, the good news is you can. I hope you'll go to PasadenaShowcase.org where you can buy tickets. This is a very good cause. It all goes to music and bringing instruments to children so they can be exposed to the arts. And also you can win more tickets. We're going to be giving them away on my website and on Facebook. So throughout the day, throughout the weekend, go to cindydole.com and maybe you will be a lucky winner. So coming up on the show today, we're going to take you through the different areas of this home. And there's so many areas. I mean, there's about 30 designers who give her their time and give her the materials and just, work so hard for the past 3 months in this home that this beautiful English, almost cottagey looking place. It reminds me of some fairy book story. And it was designed by the legendary architect Paul Williams in the 20s. But boy, did it need some help. And so today we're going to talk with 4 different designers. One who really transformed this back area that was a stable. And everyone's telling me, can I just hide and live in there now? I mean, it's the guest cottage, but it's so much more. You could definitely live in there forever. It's better than most of our homes, I'm thinking. Later, we'll talk with the kitchen designer who did some magnificent things to the interior kitchen, which is a very historic old 1920s kitchen that needed to be restored, to treasure the past, but also kick it up a few notches and upgrade it with the new conveniences. And she did that both on the inside and the outdoor kitchen. So we're going to learn about both of those because don't we all want a great outdoor kitchen as well as an inside kitchen. And then later on in the second hour, we're going to head to a couple other spaces, the pool area. Oh my gosh, the pool. It was great before, but boy, is it beautiful now. There's a koi pond that looks like it's just kind of spilling over into the pool. It's an incredible illusion, and all this lovely landscaping that gives you this great outdoor relaxation sensation. So we're going to talk about that. And then finally to the great room that has this wow kind of vavoom color of tangerine and pink and green with white couches, and you're not going to believe it. So we'll learn how to be a little bolder with color as well. So keep the number handy. It's 888-KFWB-980. 888-539-2980. We welcome you to call on in and talk to these designers. Maybe you're thinking of some of these spaces yourself and you're going, where do I start? What do I do? We're here to help you out. 888-539-2980. And remember, too, you can go back to the website. You can download my app. Yes, we have the app for that where you can take the shows with you on the road and just go to cindydole.com, and it's there to get it all for free. So before we get started, this is Easter weekend, and I was just at the grocery store yesterday, and so many of us are out getting those cute little Easter lilies. They're there on our shopping cart. But did you know, for those of you pet lovers, that Easter lilies are toxic to dogs and cats? That they can be fatal? And really, really bad for cats. And, I mean, if they just nibble on a leaf, they can go into toxic shock. So all I'm saying is enjoy your lilies, watch your pets, and if you're seeing some sudden changes, and they're looking like they're getting sick, don't hesitate. Call your vet because we don't want anything bad to happen to your cute little furry friends and members of the family this Easter weekend. So let's get to our first guest. And when you go inside, you're going to feel like you are suddenly a king or a queen or just you're never going to want to leave. It is the guest cottage.
Be our guest, be our guest, put our service to the test. Tie your napkin round your neck, Sherry, and we provide the rest.
So yes, it all started as, well, kind of a messy space, but that didn't make Josh Kane with Saxony Design Build nervous. He just kind of goes, hey, I can do this. This is an incredible space. When you go to the showcase house, it's in the back. And it's a kind of a large space. I mean, it had La Cañada. We're in the city of La Cañada, and this is a community that's very pro-horses. And so you can imagine back in the 20s and even beyond where this was a place where they would keep their horses and then go for a ride. But wow, you can also imagine and smell the yucky smells that will come with that. But let's find out what Josh Kane did because he tackled it and he did it so well. Josh Kane, welcome.
Hi, Cindy.
Everyone is loving your guest cottage.
Yeah, the response has been amazing this year.
So tell us what it was like when you first walked to the site, and was it kind of smelly?
Yeah, it was kind of smelly.
Kind of dirty?
Gross. Yeah, kind of like a trash dump almost.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think even the horses had been here for like 30 years. Like nobody had been back there, and it was just
But you could still smell them.
Oh yeah, for sure. There was like barn wood and trash and junk just all piled up around there, and the roof was caving in a little bit. Like when we went inside, you could see sky through the shingles from the inside. Dirt floors, wood kind of rotting and falling apart, so just like a big mess.
But yet, that wood you didn't want to get rid of completely,
That's right?
Because it's historic.
Yes.
And Paul Williams' design. And so what did you think of?
Well, when we started the demo process, actually, we saved as much of the original interior barn wood as we could. We removed what was too damaged to put back up, but in my redesign, I reused and repurposed a lot of that wood.
And you did it well. I mean, the woman, I saw her doing some of her work. Wow.
Yeah, Mary Linda, my decorative finisher, got up there and really cleaned a lot of it and made it look beautiful, and took new parts that were covered and made it look old, and patches that we did.
Exactly. I mean, it's new, but it looked like it's still of the period.
Right. And in fact, the beams that we had to put in the great room that I created, those are brand new structural beams that we had to install to support the roof.
Wow.
And she refinished those to match the 80-year-old barnwood.
So paint a picture, because if people are listening to this, I want them to get the visual as they're just walking up to what was this stable. What are the first things that you see? Because you have this beautiful garden,
right?
And there's a nice pond, right?
Yes, John, a landscaper that works with us regularly, did the outside with us. And so when you're walking up, you hear this really nice fountain that's an antique well pump flowing into what was the horse trough, the watering hole, basically.
And I think it's from England, too,
yes,
you're saying. Yeah.
It is. So you hear that nice water sound first. You see a lot of flowers, some evergreen trees. It's very almost Snow White.
It is.
Yeah, when you approach the cottage.
And he was saying that one of his secrets, John, the landscape designer, was that the palette of using orange, yellow, and purple.
Yes.
Or orange, yellow, and pink. And isn't that great? That
Yeah.
color really takes you there. And then as you walk into your space, how
Right.
large is this old stable?
Well, it actually was originally stables. There was like a little gardener's cottage, a groundkeeper's cottage, and a tack room all back there that we combined into one big space. So total, it's about 1,750 square feet. So it's a big space for a guest house, although it seems kind of quaint on this property because the property is so large. But it really worked out on the inside. It's nice and spacious. It's 2-bed, 2-bath. There's a lot of room to move around.
I mean, it's a condo.
Yeah, it's essentially a condo.
It really is. It's like a home that a lot of us would just to die for, want to be there.
Yeah.
And when did you choose this to be your creation, or were you assigned it? You chose
No,
it.
crazily enough, I chose it.
Yeah, big job.
Yeah, I like to do big spaces. People that have seen my work at Showcase before know I've always done larger spaces. This year, there were really two things that I wanted to make sure that we accomplished, and one of those was doing something that is relatable to the average person that comes through the Showcase house. I think, the 45,000 visitors that see this home, it might be difficult to relate to the main house. It's a large estate that really not a lot of us have. But this is something that's very relatable to a lot of people. So you could walk through and say, my rooms are this size, or I have this in my house. So that was really important. And then another thing that we just really wanted to show was everything that we can do. We're a design build firm and we do a lot of construction. So we really wanted to showcase the fact that we can build a house just like this, which is essentially what we did. We had to support the roof. We wanted to keep the original cedar shake roof intact to keep that charming Snow White kind of look. But we had to rebuild the entire structure of this place. It was built as a barn, not as a house. And our structural engineer came in and did all our drawings, and we did the appropriate structural work that would hold the roof, the drywall, and everything else that we did.
Well, when we come back, I want to hear more, Josh, about what you did. I love the countertops.
Yes.
I love the fireplace. I mean, there's so many little hidden nooks and crannies, and we can't forget the glass tile that looks like caramel
Yes.
that you used as a backsplash. That's easy, a good takeaway learning thing for this. So a lot of good tips. 888-KFWB-980, the number to call in if you have a question. Maybe you don't know where to begin with your space. You got company coming, right? Still ahead, more ideas from Josh Kane and his fabulous guest cottage, guest room. We're live at the Pasadena Showcase House. Home Wizard Cindy Dole on KFWB News Talk 980.
magnifique, très très cool et très très chic. Supersonic.
Yeah, it's so easy to be chic when you're Josh Kane, right? Josh Kane, one of the great designers here at the Pasadena Showcase House, he did one of the rooms that you're going to say, well, it's more than a room. It's a guest cottage, and why am I'm not taking the shuttle back home. I'm staying.
Right.
Cindy Dole, this is Home Wizards. We're coming to you live from the Pasadena Showcase House. What is that? Well, of course, you must know what it is by now. It's been nearly 50 years, this incredible, great group of gals who volunteer their time to put this on to raise money and to give us all an experience to learn all the possibilities for your home and your gardens. And it's such a great laboratory, if you will. And so Josh Kane with the Saxony Build Design did a great job with this guest cottage. And so we're just learning more about what the elements were. So the colors, it looks very kind of creamy, goldeny, soothing to
Yes.
me. Yeah.
Very neutral. My palette is very neutral. I did that on purpose. I wanted it to feel very open, very relaxed, very relatable. It kind of takes you out of what you've just gone through in the main house, because the main house is a lot of house.
Yeah.
It's a lot to see. It's a lot to experience. And I wanted people to just come down and calm down when they get down to the guest cottage. So the color palette is purposefully very, very neutral, soft, easy. There's still a little bit of color, so it's interesting. Some yellows, some grays, browns, greens, that kind of thing.
Little pop here and there.
Yeah.
Talk about the countertop, because you can't have a guest cottage without a kitchen
Yes.
in the guest cottage.
There's a great kitchen in
and
the
that
guest
and that
cottage.
countertop is yummy.
The countertop is actually a very unusual limestone. It's from a northern Portugal quarry that's very small. So there's not a lot of access to it in the United States, but we have a great stone vendor that's been bringing it in, and the surface is actually wire brushed, so it has a really great hand or texture to it. It almost is kind of like leather,
Yeah.
and it's a really beautiful kind of creamy, buttery color.
Buttery is a good way of putting
Yeah.
it. And it's easy to maintain.
Yeah, fairly easy to maintain. It is sealed. There's a lot of great advances in stone sealers on the market within the last year or two. And the sealer that we have on it is actually a 15-year sealer. It's warranted by the company to seal it for 15 years.
Wow.
So it's great. It used to be, if you had marble on your kitchen countertops or limestone, you'd have to have them resealed every year, or they're going to be trashed, and that's really not the case anymore. These new stone sealers are really amazing.
Talk about the walls, because those are also gorgeous.
Yeah, the wall tile in the kitchen is from my line that's coming out this summer. Maison Stone and I partnered to create this line, and it's about 60 designs that I've come up with that are kind of inspired by my essentially shopping travels all over the world and different things that I've seen and liked. And
Kind of feels Roman to me.
yeah, that particular pattern, I was looking at a lot of these things last time I was in Greece. So it's kind of a fretwork pattern, but it's done with a water jet machine, which is kind of like a laser. It's like a high-powered beam of water that will shoot through any tile, stone, glass, metal, and you can combine all of these things to create a pattern. So it can really be anything. Like you could put your face into the computer and have this machine make your face out of tile and glass. And
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it can really be anything. So it's a great product in that you can totally customize it. You can change the colors, you can change the size, you could take a piece out, you could add a little bird here or there or a butterfly, like you could really do anything. So it's shown in the kitchen and the guest cottage, and then both of the bathrooms it's shown as well.
And one of my favorite takeaways is that glass tile. Talk about that. You've created this kind of a zigzag pattern, and it looks like caramel to me.
Yes.
And it's a backsplash.
That is the backsplash for the little entry area that has a wine bar in it right when you walk into the guest cottage, and that's made out of stained glass.
I mean, it's kind of a throwaway space, but to me,
It
it's
is.
one of the most beautiful areas.
Yeah, I love that backsplash. It's very interesting. It feels a little African to me, kind of like African contemporary, and I love mixing elements together. So it's like that great like pop of color that we were talking about that you get when you walk into that
Butterscotchy.
space.
And so you just got this glass tile, and then
Yeah.
you paired it with what? There's like a white mixed in with the caramely color.
Yeah, that's how they make the glass, the stained glass tile. How the colors just kind of mix together.
Wow.
It's a very old-fashioned
Oh, it's
technique
beautiful.
that they do.
Beautiful. You have a fireplace.
Yeah, there are actually 2 fireplaces that we
Oh,
put in.
thank goodness.
Of course, since it was a barn, there was no heat or AC or anything like that
Yeah.
when we started. So we did put in 2 fireplaces. The one in the great room is this really beautiful French limestone that was hand carved to create this very large surround.
Yeah.
So that kind of anchors the seating group in there. And then the other fireplace, which is in the kitchen, is also done in a Portuguese limestone that's been tumbled and antiqued. And we found an old timber in one of the barns on the property that we actually created the mantle for that fireplace out of. So that's a really great touch. I love having a fireplace in a kitchen. I think it's so charming.
So is that one of the lessons that you hope people will remember when you're thinking of a guest space, to make it cozy?
Yeah, make it cozy, make it comfortable. I mean, everybody kind of jokes around about, you don't want your guests to stay too long. But yeah, you do. It's like if you're going to invite them to come, make them comfortable, make it great, and make it a space that you would go and hang out with them. It can be a great getaway for you as well. It doesn't have to be only guests. Like, look at it as a place to go yourself on the weekend and get away from your life and your own house and the mess and all of that.
Isn't that a great idea?
Yeah.
So your guest room, if you're lucky enough to have space in your home,
Right.
to have a room dedicated to guests, could also be your me space.
Right.
Right?
So-
Your weekend retreat.
Yeah, set it up like a hotel and have a great TV in there and maybe a coffee bar and the whole thing, and like take a vacation in your guest
I
room
love that.
and get away.
How fun.
Yeah.
Well, so what would be a good color palette for people just to be thinking as a starting point for a guest space? Do you think we should start with a neutral, soothing,
Yeah.
calming, simple colors?
I would. I mean, think about like spas that you've been to and hotels that you've been to that are very comfortable and relaxed. They're usually very neutral color palettes. There's always pops of color that you can have. If you love orange, throw an orange pillow in there or an orange frame or something like that. But if you keep it neutral, it's not only going to keep it comfortable and relaxing, but it's going to keep it timeless. I think that's a big point that a lot of people get mixed up with color. You don't want to use too much color on items that are permanent and expensive to change. Counters and walls and floors and that kind of thing. Keep it neutral and it's going to last a long time. You can change your pillows, you can change your frames.
We won't get bored with it.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
How about the bedding? For a guest room, the colors and the style of the bedding that
Right.
you chose to, again, create that retreat feel,
Right.
right?
The bedding that I use generally is very simple in itself, either cream or white sheets, and then use some more interesting pieces for smaller pieces. It's the same concept as the color. You don't want to invest a ton of money on something that you're maybe going to get tired of. So just get maybe like a great dust ruffle and a couple of throw pillows that are more of that pop or wow or a pattern or something like that, and keep the rest simple. Keep the
Okay.
sheets simple.
I think a lot of us also struggle with, in terms of the guest room, you want to have some technology in there, right?
Yes.
Should we have a plasma TV or, make it really all tricked out? Or
I would actually. It's been a funny thing. The showcase has been open, I think, for about 6 or 7 days now, and a lot of people that come down into my space comment on the fact that I have a TV. Because there's a TV sitting in the great room and it's playing a slideshow of before, during, and after. I think it's fine to have a TV in the middle of a room. It doesn't have to be closed. It needs to be out of the way, but that's how people live. I mean, that's our society. Everybody has a TV and wants to watch a TV. So,
well, especially if you're lucky enough to have the TV that can be your slideshow, because
Right.
then it becomes a very, again, touchy-feely, cozy, look at my photo album experience.
exactly.
You
You
know?
can put family photos, vacation photos. You can put a slideshow of artwork on it. There's some great companies online that you can order DVDs of all kinds of different art that plays to music on a TV. So it can be a really nice element. Another thing that we have in the guest cottage, which is which is really nice, is a wireless speaker system. We didn't have to cut into the walls and put expensive speakers or anything anywhere. We actually got a little wireless iPod dock and bought 5 wireless speakers. All you have to do is plug them into power.
Genius.
And you instantly have like whole house surround
Isn't that
sound
great?
for, it's like $150.
For the whole thing?
For the whole thing, all the speakers and the iPod dock.
Here we
and
go. We're
everything.
going to the Apple Store right now.
Yes, it's amazing. It's great.
Okay, well, tell everybody your website so they can see all your good stuff.
My website is www.saxonydesignbuild.com. You'll see my portfolio on there. You'll see some photos of the guest cottage. That's actually all going up this weekend as we're speaking. You'll see links to my tile line and a couple of other lines.
And we'll
that I
see you
do.
here. You're here at the
Yep.
cottage.
I'm here almost every day. Come and visit me.
You don't
We can
leave.
talk.
You're
No.
sleeping there. All right. Well,
Yep.
thank you so much, Josh Kane. Fun as always talking to you. Congrats
you.
on a great space, and thanks for the tips.
Thank you.
All right. Well, coming up next as we continue our special Home Wizards from Pasadena, the Showcase House, which is physically in La Cañada. We're going to talk about the kitchen, both the indoor and the outdoor kitchen, with a lady who really outdid herself. You're going to love what she did, and you're going to get some great tips, I promise. Cindy Dole, Home Wizards, and we're back after this.
Used to be my desert